Hello, my name is Tobias Izsó. I'm Austrian and welcome to my exhibition, The Accountant. I actually come from a photography background, so I used to study photography for 8 years and then shifted more to assemblage and sculptural works. At the moment I'm very into woodworks and sometimes I work with textiles and weaving and upholstery. Since the beginning of my studies I worked a lot with props and fragments. It's usually about domestic life and very much like this focal point of me being Austrian and trying to understand like my surrounding in a way. So like this petit bourgeois leftovers of like this Viennese coffee house culture and all these like social codes, these moments of hierarchy, of like used comfort and wealth. And I've always been really intrigued by this, like going to a coffee house in Austria, everything is old and nothing is really from my own like time. And in order to like get an understanding from my surrounding, I kind of taught myself through like YouTube videos and online stuff how to like learn these techniques. So how to do woodwork, how to carve, how to do upholstery. And lately I work a lot with steam bent wood, which one might know from like these old coffee house chairs. Tonnet, for example, might be known. And the exhibition, which is called The Accountant, is about like these moments of representation, things which seem like oddly familiar, but I try to like give them some twists and give them some moments of questions. So, for example, work over there is called off the cuff, which is a British saying which comes or originates from like dinner parties where like the head of the table kind of holds a speech but has like in their cuffs some hidden notes, some guidelines who to greet and how to behave, which I kind of found interesting that there's this like childlike demeanor in such a like male-dominant bourgeois setting. And for me it's very much about like these moments of failure, the moments where things get a bit odd, where objects kind of have their own agenda. Like for me I work with bent wood because it's so like fixed and static, so it's like a straight thing which then becomes bent and then has some like body-like curvature or something. So for me this like anthropomorphic moments in objects is something which I'm really interested in. So I actually come from a photography background, and for me it was really funny because my teacher kind of drilled us to learn how to build frames in the first semester. And I started at a really young age. I started when I was 17, and I was really like confused by the fact why I would need to build my own frames. But then I got super intrigued by woodwork, and I spent the majority of my studies actually just in a wood workshop. And I've done some Erasmus courses in Prague, where I was actually in a sculpture class. But for me it's interesting that I never really had this sculptural discourse. So I come from photography, and I think therefore my works are also can be read a bit differently because it always comes from kind of like a picture point of view. So back in the day when I was working more with photography, it was always about this trompe-l'oeil moment. So something tries to look like it's real, and I'm playing a lot with like shifts of materiality and scaling. So I think there's still some like photography leftovers inherent in a lot of works actually. So yeah, this year actually has been really busy. I'm really thankful to have this show now in Dresden, and I'm going to show also at the Art Cologne some works, and there's a prize in Zwickau, also in Germany, the Max Pechstein prize, and then I'm going to do a residency in China for 2 months, so I'm really curious for that. Yeah, it's going to keep on being busy, I'd say, but.
Hello, welcome to the exhibition of Tobias Izsó, the accountant. My name is Eva Slabá. I'm the curator of the show. And we met with Tobias, I think, around 2 years ago, probably, when he was internshipping, or he had a study internship in Prague. And we started together to work on a project in a Hand Kastner gallery. It was a duo show, but it was the first cooperation we had together, and it was great, and I fell in love with his work, so I was very happy to continue in our collaborative work. What I truly admire in Tobias' work is how he actually is able to intertwine or interconnect not only the formal aspects of his practice, but also the ideas and the metaphorical way how he produces the work and then connects everything together. And especially in this exhibition, I would say, since the title is The Accountant, it's all about our personality and our identity and belonging, how we construct ourselves and how we present ourselves in the society, which has some certain norms or expectations. And that goes very well together, how he uses the materials and the form. For example, the fragile veneers, which are perfect on the surface, but there is always something hidden behind them. And as Tobias mentioned, these anthropomorphic qualities really makes these objects special because they are somehow stiffen in a moment, and you can feel there is something really alive about them. And the gestures are very strong. And also in the connection with The Accountant, for example, he has this work which is this life-size or over life-size sock, which is a bit uncanny, also maybe a bit funny, but at the same time it has something quite uncanny about it, like trying to hide your dirty linen or try to hide your money laundering, for example. And this whole idea about what we present as polished or representative is actually, or can be questioned very deeply. Also, what is quite interesting, when you enter the space, I feel like you enter and you feel someone's presence. And this absence and presence, it's quite characteristic for me, at least, in Tobias's work. And it feels almost like these objects fell out of someone's diary or someone's personal life, and you're trying to figure out what is actually behind them. And this interpretive or interpretation area and pole is quite broad, and I feel like that is something which viewers can find quite interesting, that it brings lots of questions. It's not firmly set what you should think or what you should feel about them. For my future plans, in case you would be in Prague in November, you are very much welcomed to the duo show of Oleg and Kaśka. They are Polish artists. It's going to be in Polanski Gallery, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be beautiful.
Ja.